Hi, this is Bruce Buffer, your voice of the Octagon, and you're listening to MMA Mental.
Welcome to this week's MMA Mental podcast. My name is Ray. As always, the MMA Mental podcast is sponsored by UK Fightwear, which you can follow on Twitter at UKFW and the UFC Live Facebook page. Also check out our fellow podcast, the MMA podcast and the Word on the Street, hosted by Jake and Ramses, two fantastic shows. Check out and like the following Facebook pages: UFC Live Facebook page, MMAmental.com and UFC Games. You can also follow us on Twitter at MMA Mental. This week as well, we'll be back with the newly formed MMA Mental Roundtable with top MMA journalist Brad Wharton, your MMA's featherweight fighter and journalist Jay Furness, and UFC middleweight Luke Barnett. We'll be breaking down the UFC Fight Night Maya vs Shields main card. Okay, this week we're joined by four guests. Davey Grant is back as he breaks down episode 4 of Tough 18. Then we speak to Jason South. The undefeated Jason South prepares for his toughest test yet against Sam Alvey for the MFC Middleweight Title. And then we're joined by Smealinho Rama as he puts his undefeated record on the line against the tough Anthony Hamilton at MFC 38. And Ben Brewer is a month away from XFC 26 and Anthony Lemon.
Okay, I'm now joined by Ben Brewer. Ben Brewer will be competing on XFC 26 Night of Champions 3 in Nashville, Tennessee against Anthony Lemon. Ben, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Just so we can get to know you a little bit, what is your current professional record?
4-1.
Fantastic.
I say it should be 5-0, but with that little, should be no contest. I hit my head on a cage, and it caused a pretty nasty gash.
Tell us a bit about that then. How did that happen?
It was like 30 seconds into the first round, man. I took the dude down. I hit my head on the bar across the bottom of the cage, and it split me open pretty bad.
So, I mean, in a way, then you're kind of an undefeated fighter. If that's your only defeat, then.
Yeah, that's my only defeat as a professional.
And what was your amateur record?
22-2.
Wow, so you fought a long time in amateur then?
Yeah, a lot more than I should have.
I was going to say, what made you have so many fights in amateur before going pro?
I got into it like really young, and I just wanted to fight a lot. I started fighting like every weekend, and then eventually I worked my way up to the higher ranks, and here I am.
I mean, 22-2 is an amazing record. Just give us an idea of the nature of your wins. How many knockouts, how many submissions, how many decisions?
I'm not sure on the exact total, but the majority of my wins have been by submission, and I can only think of 2 or 3 fights that have gone to a decision.
So is that your strength then? Is it your ground game, your jiu-jitsu?
Oh, definitely.
So where do you train your jiu-jitsu then? Who do you train with in preparation for your fights?
I was training at Tennessee Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy in Spring Hill, Tennessee, but I'm kind of going through a gym switch right now. So I'm in the middle of a move.
And do you know which gym you're going to be going to, or are you still not sure at the moment?
I'm open to suggestion.
Cool. So you're looking for somewhere at the moment. So if anyone's listening, you're obviously looking for a gym, and you're looking for it around which part of Tennessee?
I live in Middle Tennessee right now, but I'm making the move to Memphis.
Okay. Now, am I right in saying this will be your debut on the XFC?
Sir, I'm sorry.
And how did this opportunity come about, and how do you feel about fighting under the XFC banner?
Oh, it's a huge opportunity for me. That's the way I see it.
You're
just ready to.
Sorry, go on, carry on.
Ready to put on a show for the big show.
Hey, absolutely, it's like you say, it's a huge opportunity. Now you're facing Anthony Lemon. What do you know about Anthony Lemon?
I know a lot about Anthony Lemon. I fought him before, and we've trained before a few times.
Yeah,
I know he's.
go on.
Yeah, I know he's a really strong, just tough dude.
I actually spoke to Anthony last week, and he did mention that he competed before, and he was saying that he'd lost you before, and he was looking to avenge his loss. So how did the first fight play out?
Submission attempt after submission attempt. He just powered through, and until the third round, and we were both tired, and I finally locked up the triangle and finished it.
How do you feel you've improved, or how have you improved from that fight to now?
Oh, I know I've improved leaps and bounds in all aspects. I would assume Anthony's done the same. It's been 3 years now, I believe. But no, I still think my jiu-jitsu is going to be a huge factor in this fight, but I'm comfortable wherever it goes.
Now you talked there about fighting obviously on the XFC. You're 4-1. Where have you're 4-1 professionally? What other promotions have you competed under?
I fought for Strike Hard promotions in Alabama twice, and 3FC in East Tennessee.
So do you feel this is a real big opportunity for you to kind of get your skills onto a bigger platform and get your name out there even more?
Oh yeah, this is it. This is going to be exactly that.
Now you talked there about your jiu-jitsu. What other areas do you focus on in preparing for the fight as well? What other martial arts are you training in?
Hyastin, Muay Thai, just everything, wrestling, wherever. I'm a jack of all trades.
What was your base before you got into mixed martial arts? Had you done any other kind of martial arts when you were younger?
When I was little, I did some karate, but I didn't get started in really fighting until I started jiu-jitsu whenever I was like 14, 15.
Now, I know you told me you started competing amateur at a young age. What age were you when you started competing in amateur MMA?
I had my first fight when I was 17.
Wow, and what age are you now?
20.
So you've got a huge career ahead of you, and you've already, you put both your records together, you're already like 26-3 at 20, which is absolutely fantastic. So we're obviously about a few weeks out from the fight, and you're saying you're obviously looking for somewhere to train. What are you doing at the moment to keep yourself fit and ready and prepared for the fight? Are you training by yourself or?
No, I've cross-trained at a few different gyms in the Memphis area. And then when I'm at home, just taking trees down in the woods. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I'll be ready to go October 18th.
And what about with regards to your weight? How much weight do you walk around at, and how much weight have you got to cut for the fight?
Weight's never a problem for me. I'd actually eventually would like to make the cut to 55. I don't walk around heavier than 185, so to 170 is just, it's nothing.
And that leaves you feeling strong with the weight cut being the way it is. That leaves you feeling quite strong in the cage.
Oh yeah, I feel I could fight on the day of weigh-in.
Well, it's great. It is a few weeks out. It's going to be a great event. Like I say, it's a big fight, a huge opportunity. It's always big when you're fighting on the XFC card. We appreciate you coming on and chatting with us today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
My pleasure. But before we let you go, I just want to give you a chance to do any shout-outs. You want to shout out any friends, family, sponsors, and let people know about your Facebook and your Twitter as well?
Sure. I have a huge group of people supporting me, and believing in me, even when I don't believe in myself. I want to thank Game Changer Clothing. He's done a lot for me, Jason Pauly, and my awesome manager, Champion Wagen, and everyone that's helped me get to where I'm at.
And can the fans follow you on Facebook and Twitter?
Yeah, Ben the Ruler Brewer on Facebook and the Ben Brewer on Twitter.
Well, it's been great having you on the show, and I really appreciate you giving me your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
We're now joined by undefeated heavyweight and Canada's #1 heavyweight, Smealinho Rama. He will be facing Anthony Hamilton at MFC 38 on October 4th, 2013 at the Shaw Conference Centre, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Smealinho, thank you very much for joining us today, mate.
Thanks for having me.
I know we're a couple of weeks out from the fight, and of course I want to talk. I obviously want to talk about that fight. But before we do that, I just want to get a little bit of your background. You're currently 6-0, so you're obviously an undefeated fighter. You started fighting professionally in 2012. What got you into mixed martial arts?
Just competitive drive throughout the years, doing different types of sports, and just saw it and wanted to get it done. So I got into it, started training, got a few fights, and fell in love with it. And now I'm just going strong.
What kind of sports had you done before then?
So I grew up playing soccer, like football, basketball, and that's pretty much it. Basketball and soccer for most of my life.
So it was a big switch over then, going from, obviously they are full contact sports, of course, but well, I know football or soccer is, but going from that to MMA, why such the drastic change?
Pardon me?
Why such the drastic change, going from a football, which is obviously a competitive sport, but it's not a combat sport. So what made you want to go from that to mixed martial arts?
I was always a bigger kid growing up, and I was more aggressive than other people. Not more aggressive, just more physical. And just thought I would try it out. It looked fun to me, right? The whole idea of fighting just kind of drew my attention, and just went right to it.
I mean, you've got off to a fantastic start. Like I say, you're 6-0. When you were 2-0, you made your debut for MFC. What was it like fighting for the #1 Canadian promotion?
It's pretty great, They market me really well. They take good care of me. They're pretty well organized. So when I'm out there fighting for those guys, it's all easy going, and it's an easy thing to deal with a fight.
Now you're currently, obviously, like I said, 6-0. And the interesting thing about your record is it shows how well-rounded you are. No fight's ever gone the distance. You've got 3 TKO finishes, or 3 TKO/KO finishes, and 3 submission finishes. So what would you say are your strengths?
What?
What would you say are your strengths?
I don't know. I'm just, I've worked everything from day one, and I've just been good at everything. I started out in mixed martial arts, not a certain type of martial art, not karate or whatnot. I started out doing everything. So, being well-rounded is just a given.
Yeah, I think we're definitely seeing that with the new breed of fighter that is coming through. Which camp are you training with, and who are some of the people that you train with?
I have a few different gyms I go to here in town. I have a jiu-jitsu coach that used to coach Tito and Rampage Jackson. His name's Anderson Gonçalves here in Tilt MMA. My coach Vlad Goldenstein at Independent MMA. He does my boxing. I have my Muay Thai coaches, Sheldon with Master Dad at 8 Weapons Fitness and Muay Thai. And, wrestling with some university guys, some club guys. We just do the wrestling at different places. We get a lot of competitors because I used to compete in high school, so I got to know a lot of them. And it's pretty much it, I go to the gym, do my cardio and all that kind of stuff. I have a strength and conditioning coach. He's also my MMA coach, Max Marin, here at Knuckles MMA in Calgary. And that's the only guy that train with him. We're like a big family, and we all care for each other, and we all take care of each other.
Now, competing at such a high level, and competing in the MFC, how has that helped your game evolve, and how has the exposure helped you as well?
I'm getting a lot of attention, with the media, and I'm learning how to talk to people and just speak and deal in a professional manner. not just with interviews, just with different types of athletes and promoters and whatnot, getting different offers, knowing how to take sponsors. It's made a huge jump in my career. I'm getting a lot of sponsors coming to me now. They're all asking for advertisement. We're getting a lot of attention. Different promoters are coming to us, offering us fights, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Nothing crazy, just what comes with the game. I'm putting in my hours. I'm working really hard, and I'm getting the benefits.
It's fair to say as well that fans always love heavyweight fights. So what kind of reaction do you get from the fans in Canada with you being the number one heavyweight in Canada?
No offense to Canada, but they're not quite the fans. They're not quite the fans out here. I haven't encountered too many guys that they're into MMA, but they don't seem to much know about it. They know what's advertised, right? They're not such big fans of MMA that they know everything outside of the UFC. So, they don't really see MFC because it doesn't play out here in Canada. And none of them ever saw Pride. Well, not none of them, but a lot of them haven't seen Pride. So they just know what's out on the television and what's being advertised. So when they hear about me fighting and all this kind of stuff that I do, they don't really understand. But that's all right.
Well, we're still in very much an early stage, and as the sport grows, hopefully that we'll see the exposure change. Because, as great as the UFC is, and it is a fantastic promotion. There's so many other promotions out there that are doing a great job, and they deserve the credit as well. Of course, and MFC is one of those promotions. Let's talk a bit about your fight then. You're facing Anthony Hamilton. You're both two guys with great records. You're 6-0, he's 10-2. What are your thoughts on facing Anthony Hamilton?
The fight didn't really make sense to me in the beginning because the big jump between our rankings. Rama was 100 ranks higher than him, right? He's like 100 something in the world. I'm 30 something. So the fact that fight got brought up is just I didn't understand why that needed to happen. But the MFC puts up the fights, right? They get to decide who fights who, and ultimately that's up to them. I'm just there to fight and fulfill my fights on my contract.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I can see what you mean there. I suppose you want to be fighting people in and around, and if better, higher ranked than you, so you can start working your way up the rankings.
Definitely, that's what I want to do. I want to fight guys that are better than me. I don't want to jump down the rankings and stuff like that. And I'm not to take away from Anthony. He's a great competitor. He's fought some tough guys, and I just don't see that fight making sense. But it's not like I'm taking him lightly. He's an athlete, he has just as much of a chance as I do in that ring. So expect me to go out there, give it my all, and just finish that fight, get it over with.
Now, we're about 10 days out from the event. If the fans are running around about getting a ticket, why should they purchase a ticket to come and watch Smealinho Rama versus Anthony Hamilton?
They want to get their tickets, they can go to Ticketmaster, or anybody out here in Calgary, they can contact me. I have a few tickets left for them. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
We really appreciate you coming on the show and having a chat with us. I know you're obviously very busy getting ready for the fight. But before we let you go, I just want to give you a chance to do any shout-outs. Do you want to shout out any friends, family, sponsors, and let people know about your Facebook and Twitter?
Definitely, yeah. You guys can, any of my fans, you can contact me on Facebook, Smealinho Rama. My fan page is Smealinho the Prince Rama. At Twitter, I'm at Smealinho Rama. That's SMEALINHO RAMA. Shout out to all my sponsors: Soul Electronics, Breakpoint Fight Gear, Pitbull Athletic Gear, Victory Mouth Guards, Optimum Wellness Center, and Calgary Tattoo Company. Shout out to my coaches: Max Marin, Vlad Goldenstein, Anderson Gonçalves, Sheldon Merrick, Master Dab. My training partners: Ryan Hunter, Craig Hudson. All my gyms: Independent MMA, Tilt MMA, 8 Weapons Martial Arts and Fitness, and Knuckles MMA, and just my family, last but not least, for being out here to support me and taking care of me, and all my fans, everybody that wishes me well, is on my side. Thank you guys for having me on the show, and see you guys in a week.
My pleasure. Well, we really appreciate you giving us your time, and we wish you all the luck with the fight next week.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Bye. Okay, I'm now joined by Jason South. Jason South is 10-0 and he'll be fighting at MFC 38 against Smealinho Sam Alvey, which is at the Shaw Conference Centre, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Jason, thank you very much for joining me today.
Yeah, you bet, guys. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Now, we're a few weeks out from the fight. We are getting really close now. And of course, I want to talk to you about this fight. It's a huge fight on a huge promotion. But before we do that, I just want to get a little bit of your background. Now, you're currently 10-0, which is a fantastic record. Tell our listeners about your record. So, how many wins by knockout, submission, and by decision?
I've never been to a decision yet. I've finished 9 out of my 10 fights by submission, and my first one was a TKO.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I can see. Your first one was TKO, and you've rattled off 9 submissions in a row. Now, you started fighting professionally in 2008. What got you into mixed martial arts?
Yeah, I think I just like everybody else. I saw it on TV, thought it looked cool. I didn't even know what jiu-jitsu was back then, and I went and did some jiu-jitsu and was just absolutely amazed by, the technique of the sport, and took an MMA fight about a year later, and, it just kept fighting after that.
What did you have any background in any other martial art? Had you done wrestling at high school, or had you done anything like karate or any more of the traditional martial arts?
No, I never did anything. I didn't wrestle in high school. I never even played a sport. Never did karate, nothing. I was overweight when I got out of high school. I was never active or an athlete or anything. I started this all when I was 29 years old.
It's fantastic, the record you built up for yourself. We're looking as well at your 9 wins. I'm on the Sherdog Fight Finder. 8 of them with the submissions are all chokes as well, which is just unbelievable.
Yeah, I just, I work really hard at everything I do, and, the submission game is just very natural fit for me. I love striking, too. I've never thought I had to take it to the ground to win it. That's just what's happened and what I've been able to capitalize on.
Now, like I say, you're currently 10-0. Of course, you fought on a couple of, I suppose they're like regional promotions. And one of the names that jumps out to me, you faced a tough veteran. Do you want to tell us who that was and how that fight went?
Which guy was that?
You faced a tough veteran, Casey Escala, who's on one of the seasons of The Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, I fought him. He's one of those guys you never know which one of them's going to show up, a trained one, or, but you can't take the guy lightly. I had to be careful with it, and caught him with a liver shot. He shot on me, and I swept him and got a rear naked choke on him.
And you obviously talked there about your jiu-jitsu. What fight camp do you train with, or who are some of the people that you train with in preparation for your fights?
I started at a place called Unified Jiu-Jitsu. I still train there. It's just purely a jiu-jitsu school, and I also train at the Pit Elevated. And I'm just surrounded by nothing but talented guys and amazing coaches. And you can't help but get better being surrounded by the guys I am with.
Now, putting together the kind of record that you have with the 10 wins and the 9 submissions, it was only a matter of time before one of the bigger promotions was going to pick up on what you were doing. How did the opportunity come about to fight with MFC in Canada?
Well, we've talked on and off with them for about a year. They've hit me up for some late last-minute replacements, and nothing just worked out. And, this one we've been in talks with for a little bit, and they offered me a title shot, and how could I say no? I jumped at the chance. I'm excited to fight for the promotion. It's a great opportunity for me.
It is a fantastic opportunity. Of course, being on a promotion like MFC means your fight's going to be televised. You're going to get a lot more exposure. And again, they've put you in against a really, really tough opponent. You're facing Sam Alvey. He's very experienced. Of course, he's a former tough contestant. What are your thoughts on getting a fight against someone like Sam Alvey?
Oh, I'm excited. He's a really tough guy. He's 20-5 of his 5 losses. He's actually only been finished once. So that presents a big challenge to me, because I've been able to finish all my guys, and if at all possible, I want to try and do it again. I don't want to fight for 25 minutes if I don't have to. I mean, I'm prepared to, but he's a super tough guy. He's well-rounded everywhere, and hopefully I can capitalize on an opportunity.
It's going to be an absolutely fantastic fight. Now, like I said, the fight's going to be on October 4th. If people are umming and ahhing about getting tickets, why should people buy tickets to come and watch Jason South versus Sam Alvey?
Well, it's my birthday for one. I'll be 36, so come support the old guy. I won't be walking in with a cane, but I will be in there. We're gonna put on a great fight. No matter wherever it goes, standing up or on the ground, it's gonna be a fight, and we're gonna both give it hell because we both want that belt.
It certainly is going to be a fight. It's a great card as well. Jason, we really appreciate you coming on and having a chat with us, and we're a few weeks out. We wish you all the luck with the fight. But before we let you go, I just want to give you a chance to do any shout-outs. You want to shout out any friends, family, sponsors, and also let people know about your Facebook and your Twitter?
Yeah. Hit me up on Twitter at Jason K. South or on Facebook. I want to thank my gyms, like always. I can't say it enough. I'd be nothing without my gyms and my coaches. Unified Jiu-Jitsu, Jim Jones, and the Pit Elevated. All my training partners, my friends, family, everybody that supports me. I will want to thank everybody for that.
That's awesome. We thank you for coming on and having a chat with us today, Jason, and we wish you all the luck. I think it's a week and a half away, so we wish you all the luck with that fight.
Thanks much.
I'm now joined by Davey Grant to break down episode 4 of Tough 18. Davey, thanks for coming back on the show.
Hi, no problem.
Thanks for having us. My pleasure. I assume you've watched the episode now?
Yeah, I watched it.
Okay, well I've picked out some points that stood out to me. Just want to get your take on them as always. This week your teammate fighting was Jessica Rakosi. What was your relationship like with Jessica in the house?
Jessica was honest. She was brilliant. She really was one of my best friends in the house. I mean, I got on so well with her, and over the course of it in the house, I became really, really close. So I've got things to say about Jessica. She really was a diamond.
Now, Roxanne Modafferi as well seemed to be liked by everyone. Did you interact much with Roxanne in the house?
Yeah, and Roxanne as well. I mean, obviously, I didn't get as close to Roxanne because she was on the other team, but she's just a really lovely lass, and she's got a heart of gold. So it was like, it was a bit of a bittersweet fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Pick that up. You can pick that up watching the fight as well.
It was really emotional.
Yeah, especially it was kind of similar with the Shayna thing, where Shayna and Roxanne were two of the women that had kind of paved the way for everyone else, and to watch them lose was bittersweet. They worked hard all their lives to get there, and then all of a sudden, when it come to their big opportunity, they just fell a little bit short.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, we had yet another feud in the house. As always, Edmund Taverdian was involved. He was eyeballing all the opposing coaching team. And UFC veteran Dennis Hallman took offence. What were your views on that altercation?
I did. The first I saw of it was actually on the episode last night. I heard about it happening when I was in the house, but I didn't see any of it kicking off. I don't know. I must have been in the van or in the toilet or something. I never really seen it as it was happening. But I seen it last night, and there seemed to be a bit of bad blood between them. It looked as if one point as if they were going to get in the octagon and start it out themselves. But I'm pleased we never, because it's not really about that. You want to keep the sport professional, and you don't. I wouldn't have liked to see them go either, because he was a brilliant coach. Yeah,
he does seem to like to be a little bit controversial. He's getting a lot of airtime at the minute, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, he calls a spade, and he just keeps things real, and he wasn't really bothered whether his cameras there or not. He was still going to stick the same person he always is. But he's like, he's a really strong-minded guy, and he wasn't going to let anyone talk down to him or anything like that. And if he had something to say, he would say it. He was that sort of man,
Yeah, definitely. I know exactly where you're coming from. The fight was obviously between Jessica and Roxanne. It was a real battle. Roxanne looked good in round 1. But in round 2, Jessica's power and striking became too much. What were your thoughts on the fight?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a really exciting fight. The first round, Roxanne didn't take that control. She had a good top game and then a good bottom game as well. I mean, she was chucking up. It looked like it was pretty scary at the time. I thought the armbar was pretty close. You know, we all know that Roxanne had a really solid ground game, and I thought Jessica did brilliant to not get submitted in that first round, and to come out there in the second round and perform like it was just you got to take your hat up to her. And then a boxing came in. She started landing some really good, nice shots in the second round, and then it was the beginning of the end, and it was a really impressive performance.
It was. I mean, we've had 3 fights so far, and they've all been good fights. But of course, there's a lot of focus on the female fights, and both the female fights have been fantastic so far.
Yeah, they were really exciting.
Right, I personally felt the ref should have stopped it sooner. Do you think the fight should have been stopped sooner, or do you think he got the stoppage at the right time?
Yeah, I mean, possibly. I think Roxanne would have preferred to get it stopped when it did, sort of thing. I think all fighters want to give it the raw sort of thing. They want as much chance as they can to try and regain the senses and get back in the driving seat, you know. So I don't think Roxanne will be upset with the stoppage. I don't think she'll think herself that it was a bit too late. You know, they probably benefit of the doubt. She wasn't out. She was a bit out of it, but like I personally, as a fighter myself, I always want every chance I can get. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes the later the better. But I didn't think it was. I thought it was a justified stoppage.
Yeah, I mean, after Jessica had slammed her, she looked like she went limp for a bit. She lay down, and she'd obviously lost the will. She was losing the will to fight, and it looked like Jessica didn't want to punch her. But of course, she had to continue striking because the fight was still active.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a weird situation, wasn't it? Because Roxanne sort of got slammed, and she sort of didn't really have her senses, and then just sat up.
Yeah.
And it was like there was just a pause sort of thing, and Jessica was like, hold on, and it looked as if she shouldn't be allowed to hit her, but Roxanne just sat up in the middle of the fight. She wasn't defending herself.
No. And
then that's when Jessica landed a good shot. I think Roxanne was she was a little bit out of it, sort of thing, and wasn't thinking clearly.
Yeah, so, I felt the fight could have been. Yeah, I felt the fight could have been stopped at that stage. I mean, she lay down for a good second before she got back up, and then when she got back up, she, like you said, she weren't aware of his round. She weren't defending herself because she didn't know where she was.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think it all happened so quick. Maybe the ref sort of like was a bit shocked themselves. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How nice was it as well for Team Rousey to get their first win?
Yeah, I mean, it was really good because obviously we lost the first 2 fights, and then it was nice to get the ball rolling. And now, of course, you know, it was because the first 2 fights, it was a horrible mood in the changing room after the fight. Especially when the changing room was so close together, you can hear them celebrating and stuff. And this time it was our turn, and it just felt really, really good. Yeah,
and I think Ronda wears a heart on her sleeve, so when things are down, I think because she gets so down, I think that brings everyone else down as well.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the team we were all working as one unit. So if one lost, we all lost. It was really like that. So on the other hand, when one wins, we all win. So it was really good to get the win.
Now, as next week's fight was being announced, did you know it was going to be your turn before they announced it?
No, I had a feeling it was going to be me who was getting chosen. But what they told us, the coaching team, is they said, look, because we didn't know for certain we were going to win the fight.
Yeah.
So we didn't know who was going to. So they said, look, we're not telling anyone who's going up, just in case in case the other lads thought they didn't have to get themselves as ready. So everyone had to stay on top of the game and be ready to go at any time. So they said, look, we're not telling you who we picking if we do win the fight. So it was all just off the cuff sort of thing. We just, as soon as they said it, I was just as shocked as anyone. But I felt as if I was ready, and I sort of had a feeling. I think they could see that I was ready, and I was itching. So, and I think that's probably why they chose us.
Obviously, with Ronda Rousey's team being 2-1 down now, Ronda could have picked any of her remaining fighters, remaining of her 3 fighters. How did it feel her putting her confidence in you?
I mean, I was over the moon. But I mean, that's what I'm there for. I'm there to fight. And I couldn't wait to get in there, you know. And it felt really good that she chose me to try and keep the win streak going.
And of course, you'll be facing, is it Louis Facette?
Louis Facette, yeah.
Okay, well, I don't want to go any more into the fight. We'll obviously break the fight down fully next week, and we'll go more into your preparation and all of that next week. That'll be it for this week's episode. So thanks for coming on and breaking the episode down with us.
Yeah, no problem.
And as always, before we let you go, just give you a chance to do some shout-outs. I want to shout out friends, family, sponsors, and let people know about your Facebook and your Twitter as well.
Yeah, so as always, can I give a big shout-out to me sponsors, Jeff Dobson, Marquee Hire, Grant's Gym, and Toxic Fightwear. Also, can I give a big shout out to me good friends who are getting married tomorrow, Neil and Karen. They're going to be Mr. and Mrs. Dobson tomorrow. I'm actually best man for them. So I'm really looking forward to that. And if I can give a big shout out to me friends and family. And also, can I give a big shout out to my mum because she listens to these podcasts religiously and she really loves them. So I want to give my mum a shout out and tell her I love her.
Lovely. And let the fans know about your Facebook and your Twitter as well.
Oh yeah, and if you want your friend request us on Facebook, it's Davey Grant, and it's Davey Grant MMA on Twitter. And if you follow us, I'll follow you back.
Brilliant. And Dave will be back with us again next week, breaking down episode 5 and talking in more depth about his fight with Louis Facette.
Yep.
That was this week's show. I hope you enjoyed those interviews. We'll be back again next week with another great show, another good lineup. We've had a couple of weeks off with Performance Potential with Dave Bond, so that's due back this week. And we've got Jarek Haynes and Kenny Degenhart, who will be fighting on XFC 26. We're also joined by MFC owner Mark Pavlik and Kurt Southern, who will also be fighting on MFC. And David Grant will be back to break down episode 5 of Tough 18. Now, you don't want to miss that because, of course, he's due to fight next week, so I'm sure he'll go into great detail about his fight with Louis Facette.